Hello, hello. Can you guys hear me? Just 1 second. So. All right. Hey Jay, I'm doing fine. How are you? All right. There doesn't seem to be a lot of people right now on the stream. Let's see, Twitch. Come on, Twitch. This works. Everything seems to work. So, plugging away at the textures. It's awesome. Yeah, you're making good progress, especially the comparison between your... which one was it? Cora? I think it was Cora. And Toph now, you're on a good track, man. The final blow. Hey, thanks for being here. Alright, a few people seem to join now. So, hey everybody, glad you joined the stream. And yeah, as you can see, the anatomy study is still going on. So I decided last stream to dive into the details of the skeleton, and I think I started a long journey for me to go through the entire skeleton to match the level of detail. But I think I will combine everything today into a single mesh, maybe a few sections, and then detail them as one and not so many one after the other. So, Jay, Katara, yeah, thanks. It's feeling real good. Been doing some leather and metal work. Definitely gotta be better about the UVs in the future, but I'm happy with this for now. Cool, man. Yeah, I'm really looking forward to when it all comes together, when the model starts to not be a gray, lifeless thing anymore, but yeah, especially when it's rendered properly, it's gonna be good. So keep going, man. All right, so I think I will just dive into it. Yeah, doing a bit of cleanup and combining things and stuff like that. So there's one issue with the rib cage right now that I have, and it's this section here. I think I want to clean that up a little and separate the ribs around here, because this is, I think, cartilage, or it's a different section of the rib cage. As you can see here, it's separated a little. And I want to do that for the rest here as well. So a little bit of cleanup there, and then I will start to combine things and detail that up. So, all right, and just as every start of the stream, this is a study that I started, I think 2 or 3 months ago now, and the whole process is recorded. Everything that you can see here, together with the muscles, was done on stream, and all the streams are archived on my Patreon channel if you're interested in that. And yeah, I also uploaded the reference sheet today to the Patreon page, so let me open it. This was something that I started before the study here before I started on stream. And hey, where is it? Oh, wrong mode. And the reference sheet grew over time as I did the study. So all of that is in there. So I do have the skeleton, the rib torso area, and the spine, and yeah, the lower body and stuff like that, and then over to the muscles. So everything to do a study like this is included in the reference sheet. Hey Slay, thanks for being here. Formula Play, thank you for joining. So yeah, if you're interested in that and joining our Discord channel, the links are in the description below. So, what is it? It's a follow from Tai Chi. Tai Chi Lee? Tai Chi 2. Thanks for the follow. So, yeah, let's do this here. Alright. So, I also did a render test a bit earlier. I can show you. It was, I think, 2 streams ago, and we managed to get to this rendering here in Blender in Cycles. But yeah, I had some black artifacts here around the edges of the muscles, so I wanted to see where it comes from, and I tested it in Arnold again in Maya, and the artifacts disappeared. Jay, I did hear back from Blender. It seems like they're working on it. One developer wrote that it's not actually a bug, but a feature request. So I'm not quite sure when they will implement that. But yeah, for me, it's not really a feature, since yeah, things like that don't happen in real life, and the artifacts are really unpleasant, so it's not workable or presentable at this moment. So I hope they registered it. I wrote them back if I should make a request for a feature as well, but they didn't reply yet. So yeah, more lack of a feature. I think that's that hits it. But yeah, I wrote them. I hope they're on it. So yeah, because if we get this result here in Blender, that would be awesome. I really like the subsurface scattering effects in areas where there aren't artifacts really well. So I hope I can do the final renders with Blender. But for now, I think I will move on to detail everything in Zbrush before I do some additional renders. And if it isn't fixed by then I will do the final renders in Blender. But it's a matter of time when they will fix that, I hope. I think so, because it's a crucial feature, so to say, for subsurface scattering, that you can define what should be considered as one volume. So yeah, let's see how it goes. And yeah, once I'm at a point where I can do the renders, there will be much more detail to show than in the last renders. So hopefully they turn out better. So all right. So I hope if anyone is currently working on something alongside me sculpting, I would be really interested in that, just because I think it's kind of cool. But yeah, other than that, if you have any questions at any moment or random stuff that you want to talk about, just let me know and we can have a nice chat about anything. So I wonder if eCycles does the same. It's more like an optimized add-on. Super Cycles. I might have to check it out. But Slay, sir, I sent you a message in Patreon. Let me quickly take a look. Oh, yeah. So I didn't get a notification, but it seems like all right. Yeah, but that seems to be fine. So hopefully in 3 days everything's back to normal for you. I wasn't sure if it was you whose wallet was stolen, but yeah, I hope in a few days everything is back to normal. So thanks for your patience. And I think it was Yo-Yo Master that just followed. I hope I remembered your name correctly, so thanks for the follow. Alright. Awesome. Cool. So let me open the reference sheet actually. Because of the ribcage. The few ribs that I did there aren't that nicely worked or defined. So it's like a poor hole here. And as you can see, there are actually like 2 ends. So what I will do is to elongate this section. And then I can probably delete that stuff here. Let me see. Clip curve, no, I want the slice curve. So delete by symmetry. And cut these away, so I can delete these here. Also delete and close holes. Wow, I just realized you can use this for the Halloween contest. I could, yeah, but I think I will... yeah, event is a better term, I think. I think for this one I will treat it like a speed sculpt. And hopefully get a textured rendered version of it. I'm thinking about my pumpkin or goblin and a pumpkin poking out of the pumpkin. Let's see. Hopefully it will turn out good. Hopefully. But yeah, I haven't gotten to it yet. Have not got to it yet, but I will probably do it next week. So slay, yeah, no worries. Have a good one. So, all right. So with this one away, I can use the move topological brush here and put them into place. Something like this. And make it a bit thicker. That looks much better than before. All right, there seemed to be a mistake here in these ribs. Let's see if I had some other reference that shows that. So yeah, in this reference here there is a connection, but I'm not quite sure if it's correct or not. So I think I will minimize it a little around that. And let's actually create more polygroups. And this way I can separate the really white part here from the bony part. I think it's cartilage, but I'm not quite sure. It has to be something stronger. Jay, yeah, I'm probably gonna just either polypaint or zero mesh and auto UVs for substance. Oh, you're gonna finish tough by Friday. That's awesome, man. All the best. I hope it works out. Then the next character is done. It's awesome. Yeah, I think I'm gonna go for the quick and dirty way for this small event. So By the way, if anyone in the stream right now is interested in joining our small Halloween-themed sculpting thing, event, whatever, it's on our Discord channel, so you can find the link for that in the description as well. It's through my Patreon. So, all right. Let's mask everything here. And I want to have it on a line, like a curved line. Right up to here. Kaicho, hi, I speak little English, I'm from Peru. Hey, thanks for joining today. Hope you have a good day in Peru. Awesome. Jay, we'll see. I think I can finish textures and start hair today. Are you gonna use the hair system for the hair? That would be awesome. Or are you using haircuts? Sounds like a good plan. Alright, groups. Let's see if this dynamesh is way too low. So, still too low. Let's put it at 1200. That should be better. yeah, Jay. All right. So these sections of the ribs seem to be more curved, so I'll try to include that here as well. Yeah, you're welcome, Kaicho. I hope I pronounced it correct. I use Hair Tool, which is a blender, and I see. Features particles and haircuts off of grids, but I found the particles are buggy. I think I saw it. I looked into a Hair Tool. But yeah, I think for longer hair, maybe haircuts might be the better option. I really hope that they get a sophisticated hair system, or easier to control, or more resources on the current one. I mean, it's such a crucial thing for character art, so I hope they will include that. Alright, this looks good on this part. Alrighty, so the ribcage is a bit better now. It's still not sufficient. So my approach right now is that I want to get everything to a level that I can combine it, then have a few subdivision levels on the combined one, and do a zero meshing of the entire thing. And after that, UV everything at once as well. Jay, well, it's good for haircuts. You basically just put a grid in a general area, mark a sharp edge where the root is, and then the other makes strands based on Gizmo you alter. That's awesome. Yeah, I saw a few videos where people explained it. It seemed to be quite a nice add-on. The Bezier curves and you can tweak. That's cool. Whistleblower, hey, thanks for joining. I'm just continuing with the female anatomy study. If you just joined. Hey Bam, glad to see you back. Alright. So what am I gonna do next? I think what I want to do is to combine the spine here with the lower part, so I have one object. So merge down. So this will hopefully make it easier for me to retopo it, and not only retopo but do the details as one piece. Autosave. Earlier I worked on a commission and Zbrush just disappeared, but luckily it saved at the time where it disappeared, so not quite sure if it was the autosave that caused it or something else, but glad I didn't lose any work. So documents, color, fill object. Alright, now to this one. I do have a subdivision level on it, so I will do the same for the lower part of the spine. And what I'm gonna do is hit a morph target, save one, so I can remove the details that are too strong. I've been pretty lucky with 2021. So some crashes, but much less than 2020. Yeah, I hope it goes more in that direction. There are a few, I think there are a few tools in Zbrush that tend to crash, but in my experience, Zbrush is really stable. Ebb and flow. Hey, I'm at work, so I won't be as chatty today, but I'm hanging out. That's awesome. Yeah, glad I can join your work. Hope I can provide some chattering in the background for you. J substance like never crashes, I don't know how. I think at work it crashed once on me, but yeah, it's really stable. On the other hand, it doesn't have a few features that I think are absolutely crucial, like opacity, controlled by pressure sensitivity. So Jenna, it's you. I didn't connect the name. I think on Twitch it's under slash or underscore Jenna, if I'm not mistaken. So yeah, thanks for being here again. I checked into the recordings of your streams, and your what is it called, likeness work is really good. So yeah, quite cool that you transitioned to Zbrush. Cool. All right, so let's see. Oh, come on. All right, this is a Dynamesh version, and the other spine is a decimated version, so I might have to do a retopo on this one. So, auto groups, Dynamesh. All right. That's awesome. Yeah, maybe if she has a or if I'm able to get up earlier at some point in the future, I might be able to be on time for her stream. Self-loathing cat, that's awesome. Alright. Details. So surface, noise. Oh, thanks. Thanks, Jenna. Really appreciate it. Noise scale a bit higher. I'm basically repeating the stuff that I did last stream, just for the rest of the study here. Max, sorry, but you are beautiful. That's too kind. Stop it. Stop it. Alright, apply to mesh. Just have to compare it with the rest of the... That seems to be quite well in comparison. Self-loathing cat. Alright. Morph brush. Come on, store. Alright. Apply to mesh. That should be sufficient. And now it was coloring, fill object, and then masking, cavity, mask by cavity, and inverse the thing. So now I can use a dark color and bring out the details as well in the color or in the texture map. And I want to darken a few sections in general. I'm just hiding a few things here so I can see the stuff better. Maybe this was too dark. So masking, same thing here again. Did you attend a concert by the artist that you're sculpting? I saw that it... Was it BTS? I'm not that familiar with the band, so I'm not quite sure. But the portrait that you were sculpting was pretty good. Max, have you ever worked on any video games or films? I did start out by working at a games company, a local one. They were doing mobile games, but I don't think they're known at all. And on films, I worked on the Dragon Rider film by Cornelia Funke. That is maybe released already, I'm not quite sure, but I worked on it a few years ago, but mostly on commercials and on animated short films that were on at festivals, so not that much public stuff yet. Oh, you're at number 5 now. So almost done. Nice. And in the end, you want to have like a an entire, what do you say, group photo of all of them. Maybe you should print them out and have it like a small shrine or something like that. Not quite. Can you call it shrine? I mean, I do have at my shelf on the other side of the room, I do put all of my 3D prints there, and it's really nice to have them printed out. So if you have the chance, that would be awesome. I'm at Pro Gamer. Hey, thanks for being here. So these here are way more subtle in their colors, so I'm not quite sure. Yeah, I think I have to exaggerate the coloring here. I plan to print them when my printer comes. Ooh, that's nice. Which one did you get? Is it the new one, like the mono screen version of a printer? Monochromatic? No, something like that. The printers got really good over the last years. It's so awesome that it's so affordable now. Can you speak to a good amount of content for portfolio? Following Refuse just said show in-game character and studies push quality. I always took to have like 10 examples of each, but then he says 2 is 2 enough. If the quality is good enough, then maybe even 1 is enough, but 2, if you have 2 really high quality characters, that's enough. I heard someone got accepted for a job, like it was an effects artist, but he basically did 1 really good wave simulation on a beach, if I'm not mistaken, and he got accepted. When it comes to portfolio quantity doesn't matter at all. I wouldn't say at all, but yeah, you don't have to push it for like 10 or something like that. 2 really good is good. I mean, if you have really good characters, then more is, I don't know, it's not a disadvantage, but whatever you can get rid of in your portfolio that isn't good enough, get rid of it. So, I mean, the thing is, having a really good character, you have to go through a lot of characters before that. Because you can't fake experience and you can't fake quality. And it will show. So doing a lot of characters is a really good exercise, especially when you go through the entire process of modeling, texturing, UVs, topology, and rendering. But other than that, you should see them as studies. And if it turns out that it's your best work at the moment, put it in your portfolio. But not everything has to become a portfolio piece. But hopefully a step for increasing the quality a little. So yeah, and as I said, if you know your stuff, and you're good, 2 characters will show at what level you are. And yeah, don't go for a quantity. Muhammad, make female and male sculpts in Blender, please. I want to learn Blender workflow. I did a stream with Blender where I used the sculpting, but yeah, when it comes to sculpting, Zbrush is still quite far ahead. So I'm not quite sure when I will come back to sculpting in Blender. But for everything else, when it comes to like box modeling and stuff like that, or hard surface stuff, mechanical things like science fiction characters, vehicles, props and stuff like that, Blender is really good. But I'm not that much into it right now, so sorry for that. But a lot of the stuff that I'm doing here in Zbrush can be translated to Blender. Blender might not be as good in performant as Zbrush. So so having 2 solid full characters and maybe a study of each stage of the process would be good, along with anatomy studies. I mean, your portfolio could consist only of these 2 characters. What I would put in there is what references maybe you use, if you had like a single reference that you went from, or a concept that you drew yourself maybe, then do a small sheet of references and put that along your portfolio piece. And then all the stages of like the high poly stuff, renders of that. Then the wireframe is important, and yeah, like beauty shots. But wireframe, high poly, the high poly renders and the beauty renders, concepts. I think that's enough. Turntables would be cool. And then in addition to that, you can put your studies in there, but you don't have to document the process for the portfolio pieces. I think for concept artists, it's more beneficial to show like the process steps, like the thumbnailing and then iterations and stuff like that. But for character art, for 3D character artists, it's not so important. Mohammed, did you have any Discord? Yes, I do have a Discord channel, and it's available through my Patreon page. So the links for that are in the description. Max, your work is beautiful, and see you later. See you later as well. Thanks for joining. Bam, someone's having a crush on it. Seems like it. I don't know how I'm supposed to react to that. But thank you very much. All right. Let's blend these 2 here a bit closer together when it comes to the poly painting. This one was a bit more subtle on top. Like the neck. The neck's cervical, the vertebrae for the neck. Sorry, I'm lost for words. Compliments are making me nervous. Alright. So I think now they're fitting together quite nicely. Let's see. Qualm just subscribed. Thanks a lot. Alright, so the spine is combined. That seems to look quite nice. So sometimes the music tends to be a bit slow. And by the way, how much would it cost to have someone 3D print for you? Like, let's say an average 6th scale size statue figure. Just the print or the design and the miniature, or not miniature, but the figurine, the sculpting of it as well? When only for the print, I mean, I think in my case I would probably buy a larger printer. They're available, I think, for around 500 to 600 for the machine that has a bigger print volume. And I think Raphael Grossetti in his last video answered that. That was for the sculpt, not for the print. So just for the print, it depends on the material. But for a 1/6 scale size statue, I used a few services in the past, but it was on a much smaller scale and they were quite expensive. I think I would do it for... Yeah, it depends also if the model needs additional prep. That's true. I mean, just for the material, when you're using a resin printer for it, then I don't know, it's maybe on that scale, maybe $10. And for PLA filament, even less. So depending on what printer you have, the material cost isn't that expensive. But having it printed for you is, I think it's a bit more expensive. Resin would be more expensive, right? Yeah, I think if you're on that scale, it wouldn't be that big of a difference, I would say, or not an extreme difference. So maybe PLA would be like, I don't know, $2 or maybe more. I'm not quite sure how large the volume it actually is, but if it's like $2 on PLA and $10 on resin for a single print, it's not that big of a difference. But if you do it in large volumes, then of course it's if it multiplies, then it gets more expensive, obviously. But yeah, like Jay said, just Google it. I'm not that familiar with PLA printing. I only own resin printers, so I can't help you too much with that. And as Jenna or Ebb and Flow says, depends if you have to hire someone to clean up your model first or not. Mohammed, can we use texture XYZ maps in Blender? Any idea? If Blender supports polypainting, which I think it does, as well as using alpha maps, then sure, there shouldn't be any reason why that can't be done in Blender. So let's detail the shoulder blade. I just want to have a little bit more detail in there as I have right now, so poly painting is just the same as vertex painting, right? Yeah, it's the same. I think Blender supports like 3D texture painting as well, where you don't have to have the resolution in vertices in your model, but yeah, like in Substance Painter. But I think poly painting as well as texture painting should be supported in Blender. So there seem to be like small ridges. Most of the details will probably come through the what it's called, the surface details. So let's actually start with it and see what else is necessary. So noise plug at around 5, and then this kind of fall off here. Okay, let's save a morph target for it and apply it to the mesh. And I will delete a few things here. One thing that I don't want is the color blend. So this messes up the diffuse color that I have in place already. So smooth it out here at a few places. So it's not too uniform anymore. Today is kind of a more relaxed day, it seems like. More quiet than usual. I mean, it's a bit of repetitive work here that I'm doing. I hope it's fine with all of you. Not too exciting when it comes to different techniques and stuff. But maybe... yeah, maybe you're working on your own stuff right now. Bit of a roughed up area here. It seems like there's a bit of an uneven surface going on here. Maybe I can include that. There's a line going from underneath. But these small imperfections do add a lot to the believability of organic stuff. Breaks up the clean surfaces that give away that it's sculpted. There isn't actually that much of an edge here, so I'll reduce it down. Let's see if I have more references that might be interesting, like this one here. Sometimes it's helpful to go down a few subdivision levels and smooth details out there, so you don't lose the surface details as much. Alright, that gives a bit more detail. That's cool. I think I can include this line here that goes from the silhouette into the form. Looks like veins, which is kind of a nice effect. Feels like that there is a bit missing here. Just a few hard edges. So I want to include this ridge here. Seems to be quite cool. Bam, be right back, Finn. I'm having my dinner very late. Enjoy. No worries. I think I will do a little bit longer today. Just want to get through the skeleton. And I just started like an hour ago, so... This stuff that takes like 80% of the time. Or at least a huge part of the time. Even though most of the stuff is done, getting into the last 10% or pushing it further after you manage to get through everything. Yeah, it takes just so much more time. I don't know what's going on, but it seems like my PC got a bit slow today. Maybe I should check if my... No, my storage seems to be fine, so I should probably just have to restart my PC once the stream is over. Right now a lot of the skeleton feels kind of blobby, like this part here. So I want to try to reduce it as much as I can. Marion is not following. Thanks for the follow. Maybe I should scale up my second monitor. Stuff. So I can read it a bit better. Now I'm just subscribed. Thanks for the sub. Alright, let's see if I can reduce the details here a bit more. Feels more like it has pimples than like a texture for bones. Maybe I have to do another pass on the details. Enough with the shoulder blade. humorous. That seems to be quite smooth, actually. There are always a few imperfections, but maybe I can add a little bit of visual interest. Let's see, this doesn't have any subdivisions yet, so I'm doing one and morph target. So apply to mesh, and I want to get rid of it in most places. Just to remain, or remain, to keep the details in. And the smoothness of this arm. A little bit here and there is quite cool to break the specular reflections, so it's not like super clean. I don't want it to be too eroded. Yeah, Justin, good morning from California. It's 10 a.m. Wow. Yeah, right now where I am, you can see it got dark like half an hour ago, so yeah, but good morning to you. Amit, hello from India, it's 10:33 p.m. 10:30, so 7, 10, 3 hours ahead of my time. Yeah, thanks everybody for joining. It's really cool that from so many different places people come and join. So really appreciate it. Oh, that's tough, Jay. Yeah, at the studio where I work, we had someone as well that was working for people in New York, if I'm not mistaken, and here from Germany. He had to work till, I think, 4 a.m. or something like that in the morning. And no, not 4 a.m., but like 2 or something like that. So when it comes to remote work, the time differences sometimes really mess you up, so you can't have a normal life where you live, or not as easily at least. Hey Michael, thanks for being here. Australia 3 a.m. Boy oh boy. Glad you joined it despite being so late. Or despite being that it is so late where you are right now. Amit, how many years of experience do you have in Zbrush? I'm using Zbrush for close to 10 years now. So I started when I was 16, and yeah, I was in high school back then, and it became my hobby quite quickly, and I'm using it ever since. There were a few periods in these 10 years where I didn't use ZBrush that often because I was animating or doing other film-related stuff. But yeah, ZBrush is my main go-to program for around 10 years now. I mean, it adds up quickly if you don't think about it too much. Then boom, a few years have passed and you get quite a lot of stuff done over the years. So definitely surprising for me. Or whenever I think about it, it's like, damn, a lot of time has passed. But yeah, if you enjoy the process, it's not so much about the time, but just keep doing it. Hey Rush, thanks for joining. Alright, I want to have a few smaller details in here. Just so it's not that smooth. It's probably not medically accurate because every little hole has its purpose, but a few lines here and there. Bye, I'll get to sleep. Have a good one, or good night. Thanks for stopping by for a minute. Shell, hello, haven't been on for a while. Thanks for being back. Hope you had a good time doing the stuff that you did otherwise. Damn, how I wish I tried to learn ZBrush first instead of Blender, because now trying transition is hard as hell and being flooded with tools. I mean, Blender isn't a bad program to start with, actually. And to get a general overview of the production pipeline and what 3D is all about, I think Blender was the right choice, because it's a all-in-one package, and ZBrush is only focused on sculpting. So you would have just gotten in touch with the modeling aspect and not so much with the entire pipeline. So I think it was a good move still. So, and now you can appreciate what ZBrush has to offer, hopefully, or I don't know. I wouldn't survive in the industry without ZBrush. Yeah, Jay, that's true. Don't see it as a transition process. Maybe see it as just another tool. I wouldn't, how do you say it? I wouldn't ditch Blender for ZBrush. I would use it as an addition to Blender. But yeah, the interface and the use of it is very unusual for 3D programs. So. the file management is the hardest. I think this is a huge part that confuses a lot of people, the different ways of saving inside of ZBrush. Like with the Z tool, then the project, and the document. That's sometimes a bit confusing. Middle mouse button in ZBrush? Oh boy. I mean, yeah, it's maybe if it helps to transition, try that. It's the navigation that's confusing me a lot, and the tools, since they call slightly different. What might help you with navigation, what I'd like to turn on is this, by default it's on XYZ, and this way you can rotate in any direction, because every axis for the camera or for the rotation is enabled. And when you want to make it a bit more predictable, I would suggest turning on the rotate on Y-axis. In this way, you can't rotate it completely in random directions. So no matter how you rotate, you easily end up in the normal rotation. So so Sheldon, are you just doing the bones or the entire female form? Actually, I do have all the muscles already in place. I'm just going over everything again to detail it a bit more. So the entire study is done, so to say, so everything is in place already. But yeah, as you can see, it's really roughly blocked out. So when I hide the muscles again, let's see. You can see that the bones in some areas are really rough as well. And I wanted to get it to a more finished level. All right. How do I proceed? I think I will go down the arm here, and after that, once I have the torso done, so the arms up to the sacrum, I want to combine all of that together. I will have the spine separate, the skull separate, and then the rib cage, shoulder blades, and the arms in one object. And I hope that this way I can more easily retopologize everything and do the UVs and texture baking for that. So hopefully it speeds up the workflow a little. And here I think I'll do that with the... Oh, they're already combined. Perfect. So let's get these filled in with the color. And oh, they're retopologized already. That's cool. So do they keep enough details? Probably not. Nope. So one more subdivision up. And And then I'm using the surface modifier again. Scale somewhere around 5, 6, something like that. Color blend to 0. And this kind of fall off. Okay. And before I apply it, I use, or I save a morph target and apply to mesh. This way I can remove it in the areas that I don't want it. And the reason why I'm doing this is that I want to avoid the I just said the word. That it's so evenly distributed. I don't want to have it like that, but more random and or concentrated in areas that I want. For example, in the creases and on the peaks, I want to have it smoother. This gives a nice cavity effect. Bam, I only use Zbrush for the zero mesh. It's a really great tool for things like still artworks. Yeah, maybe next time I'll try to detail there, since Blender doesn't take high polygons really well. This was the reason why I didn't dive deeper into Blender sculpting tools, because I hit the ceiling fairly quickly when it came to polygons. So hopefully they will work on that. The advantage of Zbrush is that it has a completely different architecture when it comes to displaying polygons than any other softwares out there. So that might be their biggest advantage yet. There are even ways to increase the polygon in certain areas to hundreds of millions of polygons, which is insane. But you can get so much detail in there. Even with my laptop here, I could increase the poly count for the skull, for example, to easily 100 million. How high can you go with it? What is your processor? Let's see. My processor is an Intel Core i7 9750. It's like 2.6 gigahertz. I mean, it's a laptop, so if you have a normal desktop PC, then you will probably have more power than that. But there's something. The reason why you can go so high is with Geometry HD, and this is it divides everything to insane amount of polygons, but it only displays certain sections of the mesh in that high amount. So it's a more specialized thing. Don't worry, Slay Shadow. Michael, Blender lags with sculpting, one of the reasons why I went to Zbrush. Yeah, I noticed that as well. Alright, I want to get the details here of that arm. Slay, I was watching your render techniques in Maya. Ah, cool. Was everything comprehensible or understandable? Or were there some things unclear? But he's right though, Michael, he's right. Truer words have never been spoken. The last needed push. Yeah, Jay, you're totally right. Iki, I started sculpting Zbrush some 2 weeks ago. I don't know the fundamentals very well, but I'm training every day. How many months until I start making sculpts I'm proud of? Oh, I'm still waiting for that moment. Nah, it's a... I don't know. I think a way for getting confident in your work is probably saving screenshots or renders of as many sculpts as you can. So whenever you did something, make a screenshot of it or a render, or just save it somewhere so you can come back to it. And I think as soon as you see progression in the stuff that you're doing, you can be proud of it. It doesn't matter if the quality is, if you can still see that the quality isn't where you want to be, but as long as you have the progression that you're on a good track, I think this is everything that you need. And this comes by doing a few. Don't worry too much about the quality of an individual one, of an individual sculpt. Don't cling to it too much. You can like it, you can enjoy it, or you can hate it, but try to see it from one sculpt to the other and see how much you progress, because chances are, especially in the beginning, you will progress with every sculpt that you do. And if you don't see a progression from one sculpt to the other, do a few more and you will see one, definitely. So I think even in a week from now, you can look back at the stuff that you're doing today and see progress. So, and that's something that you should be proud of if you keep doing it. So yeah, all the best. It's a fun journey, so I hope it motivates you to, or you find motivation in the stuff that you're doing. You're welcome, Miki. Romina, hey everyone. Hey for being here. Thanks. Nima just subscribed. Thanks. Jay, plus the further you go, you can point out specific things you need to work on. Exactly. It's much easier to see the areas that you have to improve on, or mistakes that you repeat over and over again when you have a body of work and not only one. So this is definitely a point which helps as well. Amit, how to export height map from Zbrush. I'm planning to do a tutorial on that soon, like my workflow from having a high poly mesh in Zbrush to a displacement map and final render in Blender. I think this will be done in a few weeks. So hopefully this will answer it then. Jay, like 2 weeks ago I was so demoralized on my current piece. Then just the other day I saw it against my last. I went from texturing a gummy bear looking skin to something pretty acceptable. That's right. Yeah. And when you're working too much on one project, you tend to forget what you already did in the past and how much you probably have progressed since then. So it's a really good thing sometimes to look back to compare yourself to who you were yesterday. So yeah, I agree with Finn. I was actually looking at my first anatomy study that I was very proud of, and I know that I'm improving because it looks like the sculpt had an accident to me now. Perfect. Yeah, that's a good sign always, I think. Maybe it's even an aspiration. Can you say that? Aspiration? A goal that you want to work towards is everything that you're proud today. Try to learn as much as you can so you will look back at it in some time near the future and see that it's, or you can see the flaws more easily. You can still be proud of it, but yeah, things like that happen over and over again. So yeah, Jay, that's a good reminder. So everyone that's like the state that I'm currently in here with the anatomy study took, I think, 16 or 17 streams up to this point. So it's probably over 40 hours that I put into the study here. So things do take time. But if you do it consistently, then it flies by really, really, really quickly. Yeah, Jay, that's another good point. I just watched an older video of mine where it did a skull study. I think it was 3 to 4 hours for a skull, and yeah, now I'm at, I think, half an hour, and I think the foundation is better than it took me 3 to 4 hours in the past. So you will become faster quite quickly, I would say. There are sometimes plateaus in the progression, but probably because when you progress quite a lot really quickly, at least in my experience, I was missing out on a lot of the fundamentals, and the times that I hit a plateau was, I think, for me a point in the progression where I had to learn some of the fundamentals again to solidify the everything that I learned up to that point. And there wasn't that big of an increase in quality or speed that I noticed during that time, but it served as a new base for me to do the next jumps in my progression. So sometimes you don't see certain improvements, but then you just have to dig deeper to unveil what you actually learned over the plateau, over the course of the plateau. But this, I think, happens much later in the process. So in the beginning, there should be quite a steep curve. Michael, I've subbed to you for a long time but never seen your live streams because of the time difference. Your time lapses have helped immensely. Oh, that's nice to hear. Yeah, sorry for the time differences. I set it at a time where I was able to confidently say that I can keep a consistent schedule. Because when a job comes in, for example, then I can still do the job during the day. And I start my streams here in Germany at 6 p.m. So there isn't an excuse for me to skip it. But yeah, for some regions, for certain time zones, it's hard to get the stream or make it to the stream. Hey Wind, thanks for being here. Yeah, a little bit of texturing, mostly. Or do you mean like surface details? Just for the texturing, I'm doing simple cavity masking and then enhancing the details that are sculpted. But when it comes to surface details, yeah, this is currently the state that I'm in. So a lot of small little details here. Michael, yeah, of course, I think it's mostly because I'm in Australia. I'm sleeping when you're awake. Yeah, it couldn't be much more different, or couldn't be more on the opposite side of the globe, I think. Wind. Is it just standard ZBrush brush, or do you have a texturing brush? It's all the, or I usually use the default brushes in ZBrush. For texturing, most of the time I'm using the standard brush. Sometimes with an alpha map, but from the default ones, and the spray option. This is like my go-to. Excuse me. Let's see. There are a few bumps in here sometimes, so I can add a few here as well. And if you have any questions regarding certain brushes, just let me know. I will do a video on my most common brushes. I do have a few videos planned, but I'm not sure when they will be released. But I think a video on brushes and how to use them and what they're useful for could be interesting. Yeah, as I said in the last stream, this is a stage where I tend to spend a lot of time and sometimes lose myself in the details. But it's just so much fun to finally detail the base that you worked so long on to get to. But it can be distractive. Distractive? Yeah, I think distractive. From actually finishing the project, so I have to be careful for that. Thanks, Mureko. Sorry, probably butchered your name. If you're here for the first time, this is an anatomy sculpt study of a female that I started like 2 months ago, and I did everything on stream, so all the muscles are in place already, and I'm currently going through the skeleton to detail it. So hopefully I can get through the skeleton today. Wish me luck. And after that I will detail the muscles. I did details on the face, as you can see here. And I want to get all of the muscles to the same level of detail. And after that bring it into Blender. Or Arnold with Maya. And this is the rendering that I'm going for. Hopefully I can push it a bit more than that. But yeah, this is the aim of this project, to get it to a presentable level. And I'm planning to do a 3D print of the study at the end, just to put it on my shelf as well. Maybe use it as a reference for next projects to come. But I'm still quite a bit away from that. So first I have to detail everything. Muscle fibers, damn standard. In the beginning I used the damn standard brush, but then I did, let's import it. Alpha map. I did this custom alpha. I sculpted it on the stream and used it for detailing. So let's see, where is it? This plane here was the alpha that I used, and it's basically, let's see, stroke, modifiers, roll, I think it was a 2 or something like that, I don't know. Yeah, this was the kind of the fiber that I was then going for, or the details for this one. And with that I detailed the a lot of the muscles. But as you can see, it's really hard to get curves with this brush. So I think I have to look for another brush that I can do. Thanks, Mureko. Alright, so let's detail up this area here. There's a small edge. The thing, what I like to get out of references is a feeling for how certain things work. For example, what are the characteristics of details in bones? And it seems to be that there are these small lines that maybe represent, like, I don't know, fibers in the bone. I think it's not the structure that bones are made of, but I think it's more like a, I don't know, not fibers. But there seems to be a certain characteristic when it comes to the details. And I think you can, what Jay said earlier, after you did certain things over and over again, and for example for references, referencing cloth for example, or certain skin details over and over again, after a while you will be able to distill what the underlying principles of these things are, and hopefully this way be able to come up with your own details and stuff like that. But you have to get saturated by work and input and your own output first before being able to do that. Feels like this is too roughed up. It's too even when it comes to the surface detail. What are you working on right now, Jay? Is it the... Are you still working on the skin or on the armor right now? Jay is currently working on a fan art. I think you can say that. Fan art for Korra. Not Korra, sorry. Toph from The Last Airbender. And he's making really good progress on the armor right now. That's awesome. So leather and metals. This, I think especially like leather can be really fun to work on with all the details and roughing up the areas of use, and yeah, really looking forward to it. Do they have a drag alpha function? All I see is the projection and stencil stuff, but I don't like how they work. I only used the projection and stencil stuff as well. I'm not quite sure if they have a drag alpha function. It would be cool if they have though. So This was quite strange for me when I got into Substance, that it lacked kind of basic functionalities. What I found really odd was that they don't offer opacity or size pressure sensitivity, so that the, or do they? Not quite sure. Like, it was either opacity or the size that wasn't able to or wasn't possible to control with pressure sensitivity. So, do you use it at home at all or only work? I recently, just a week ago or so, I installed it on my PC here at home, but I haven't used it for a personal project yet. So I did in the past, like the mailman, the boy in my portfolio. That one was done with Substance. Let me search it up. Artstation.com. So this one was done in Substance, but yeah, it's a fairly simple one, so nothing too fancy. But yeah, it worked out really well, and currently I'm using it for a freelance job as well. Yeah, flow. And I always feel like I have to set the flow to values of like a 1 or 2, like single digit values, to get a proper effect. So let's see. Yeah, when it comes to the brush engine, I hope they still add more functionality to it. Can be improved quite a lot. Alright, I spent too much time already on here. Want to move on to the next stuff. There's always something where I feel it needs to have more detail. Michael, is it purely an artist choice whether to sculpt detail or instead use Substance Painter for the material? I could drop leather and tweak it much quicker in Painter than sculpting. Yeah, it's an artist choice, I would say. For my last job, for example, it was our responsibility to decide if we wanted to do certain details in sculpting or in Substance, and they said whatever is faster for you, do it there. In the end, it comes down to the result, and if you get there in the time frame that you get. I would say it's good to know how to sculpt things rather than doing it procedurally, because then you can tweak the result to where you want it to be. And otherwise, if you rely too much on like procedural stuff, then it has more control over the result than the artist. I find that is the problem sometimes with like cloth simulations or smart materials, that yeah, it looks good to a certain degree, but you can see that a computer did it. And if the director or art director wants to change it where you don't have any references for, then you're screwed. Because yeah, you have to learn the fundamentals. What makes leather look like leather? How does the cloth flow? How do wrinkles form? How does hair flow? And if you have that under control and you could do that intuitively, then these procedural tools are really good help to speed things up. But in the end, they're just tools. So. Yeah, Jay, I think this is some other stuff. If it's only on the maps, then it's really hard to judge how strong it is and if the effect will look good on the rendering. But if you have, for example, a game model and the viewport of substance is close to the final render, then if it looks good there, then probably you're on a good track. So. And whatever you feel comfortable in doing. So sometimes it's better to use the shortcuts first to get to the next level, to be able to, or if it motivates you to do that, in order to appreciate the stuff that you learn from doing it by hand. I found that after I drew a lot from imagination, I've started to develop an urge to learn the basic fundamentals because I knew what was holding me back. I realized that after doing it over and over again that I had to go back to the fundamentals to learn stuff properly. And I still don't or I'm still not that good in the fundamentals when it comes to drawing. But I really fell in love with drawing boxes, for example, which is a really good exercise for drawing. And I think I would have never liked the process if I hadn't gone through the phase of doing it from memory and being frustrated over and over again why I couldn't translate the stuff in my head down to the paper. And now I know why I have to learn the fundamentals. So, Jenna, I get people asking me why I'm sculpting hair or cloth and not using a hairbrush or Marvelous Designer. Yeah, I think you're on the same, or do you have a similar approach? And we're doing that too, or most of the time, because we enjoy the process also. And where's the fun if we just click a button and the computer shows us a perfect image? Photographs didn't replace painting, for example. So there's something to the process. Yeah, exactly, Jenna. Exactly. Stroke roll off. I think Marvelous Designer doesn't support hair, it's just for cloth physics. Yeah, Jenna, that's right. And speaking of that, I think I should move on to the next bones. So, doing more details. Alright. Actually, this one seems okay. What I want to do in the end is to combine, like I said, the torso and stuff like that. Wait a minute, what is this? This shouldn't exist. So, delete it. When it comes to a job, that's true. That time is money and that matters the most when it comes to the company. But I would say that if you know how you could do it by hand, you will be even faster doing it procedurally than someone who doesn't know it by hand but know how to do it procedurally. Because you know what you want and where you want to get to. And then sometimes, even in a company, you have to be a little selfish to find time to do what you're passionate about as well. Otherwise, what's the point of being in the job? There are situations where you are in a position of responsibility. For example, if you have family and something like that. But yeah, I hope that most people find at least something in their job that is sustainable over time to stay there. So, or change it. Try to find another position where it's not all about the money. Or that contains tasks that speak to the stuff that you're passionate about. True, but that's why I have a day job, so I can just learn and not worry about money. Not ideal, but it's where I'm at right now with my work, learning mode. Yeah, sometimes it would be cool to have the possibility to say, I want to just switch over to something else. But yeah, situations are much more complex than that. So finding compromises for the time being is sometimes necessary. But it seems like you're on a good track, especially with the quality of your sculpts so far. Polyheim, hey, thanks for being here. Let me quickly look something up. Jenna, now you have to post your Twitch stream. Or I can do it as well, but I don't know if you want that. give that some detail. Hey Stevens, how are you? Thanks for joining, stopping by for the detailing phase. Yeah, it's nothing too special today. Just going through the bones, trying to get it to a nicer level of finishing. Yeah, Jenna, if you want, I can just post your Twitch channel in the chat for the other people. Yeah, probably I could skip a few semesters in my medicine studies, but there's a lot more to all of that. But I think I would have an advantage. Thanks, Polyhan. Yeah, the hand bones here, I didn't or don't remember them as well. I mean, I know that these are the metacarpals. I know the big bones, like the ulna, radius, humerus, scapula, clavicle, sternum, yeah, the ribcage, then the different spine bones, vertebrae, the different one, the lumbar, thoracic, cervical. Sorry, I interpret it as a test. Jay, tell me why I can remember my credit card number and not 8K resolution. I mean, things that you do over and over again, at a certain point you have it memorized. So, Infinity Trapdoor. Hi, it probably has been asked 1,000 times. Which tool, lower right, are you using to browse the images? It's PureRef. It's called PureRef. Let's put it here. It's a free software that you can download, and yeah, you can compile your images in there, move them freely, rotate them, yeah, as you like, and it's a really, really handy tool to develop your own libraries of, yeah, references for projects, for general stuff like anatomy in this case, and it's like an infinite canvas, and it's really, really helpful. You can zoom in full res pictures, so it's an awesome tool. I can really recommend it. Let me see. I set up a few commands in the chat, so hopefully tools should be Stevens. That's good enough. Is it just tool? Maybe someone could try it out links. Yeah, maybe that should... Let's see in my commander line. Yeah, it should be links. In tools, there should be something for that as well. Maybe the bot isn't working properly. God damn it. Yeah, I have it set up here at the restream, so you can all see my view here right now. And I do have a commander. Sorry, everything is in German. I don't know why. And it should be links and resources and tools. So not quite sure what the problem is with it right now. So maybe I have to look into it again. Sorry for that. What is Wiederholung? It's repeat, so, or repetition. So if I would set it to, I don't know, like the links for share, like, and subscribe and stuff like that that normal YouTubers do, then it would repost the same message over and over again after a certain time. So nothing. That's too bad. No, I won't make a clip of it. Yeah, I joke with a few friends of mine about all of the phrases that people tend to say, but I'm just not into that, not in a serious manner. I like to joke about it, but making like the usual YouTuber intro, being like really snappy in the beginning, and remember to smash that bell. Yeah, that's right. Welcome to the notification squad. I don't know. Just, I don't know how someone can be authentic doing that. It's just so, I don't know, it's how YouTube works and stuff, but yeah, I'm just not into it. Share, like, and subscribe. Maybe I have to do it. Maybe this is what keeps me from gaining those millions of subs. But maybe at one point in my life I will join the dark side and do that. But hopefully it will take a while. Maybe I can skip that or avoid that. Do you have your other anatomy streams on YouTube, Finn? I do have them on my Patreon page. I do collect everyone and put them on a playlist, so they're available through my Patreon page. And I will return to doing like normal videos, like the one that I uploaded today, or that I published today. But for now, yeah, the recordings are available through my Patreon page. And you can join the our Discord channel. Like Jay is in there, for example, or Stevens is in there, and we're sharing our stuff and the stuff that I'm doing on the side, or before I publish it, I share them there as well. and it would be cool for new people to join. So if you're interested in that, feel free. I have the links in the description. I also posted my reference sheet on Patreon today as well. So if anyone is interested in the reference here that I used for the entire anatomy study, I uploaded it just today, so a little treat. Awesome, Michael. Perfect. Nice coincidence. Yeah, I promised it for a while to upload it, and I was still adding more and more stuff to it while I was working on the reference sheet. And now that I'm in the detailing phase, I think it's at a good stage to share it. Awesome, Michael. Thanks, really appreciate it. Jenna, thanks. Come on. All right. Few imperfections here and there, and then I can move on to the fingers. Alright, good enough. Now let's give it the default color, fill object, boom. And now onto the fingers, perfect. And I think for the fingers, gonna auto group, mirror and weld, and then use the Dynamesh with the groups option. So this way I have a bit better or a bit cleaner resolution, or a bit cleaner topology. That's what I wanted to say. Alright, same thing as with the others. Noise scale, color, fall off profile, something like that. And morph target, store, and apply. So let's reduce it overall on the fingers. Oop. A few harder edges and a few small little details really go a long way to give the impression of a lot of details. So it doesn't have to be everywhere. It doesn't have to be super detailed. Just have to give the impression that there is a lot more going on. Just a few lines here, for example, something like this. It sometimes helps to have like a base for the details, like the noise that I did. And then the rest is just an addition to sell the details. Oh man, these details will never be seen in the final renders, but I just can't help it. Kawa, hey, thanks for being here. Is it pronounced Kawa? I hope it's in that general direction. Michael can't seem to find the Discord link. Over Patreon? It didn't work over Patreon? Let me check. Let me see. Here I posted in the chat. This should be the way to connect it, like connect the Discord with the Patreon. So hopefully that solves it. Yeah, thanks everybody for any patron that is currently listening. I really appreciate your support. I don't know. I like to think that I can do it like full time as for my living, doing streams and videos and tutorials and miniatures and stuff like that. And yeah, the support is keeping the dream alive. So, oh man, that sounds so. How do you say it? Dramatic. So, but I really mean it. So, really appreciate it. Everyone, even the ones in, or not even, anyone that is in the chat and participates. It's really nice. It keeps me motivated, and it's the reason why I'm doing that. I mean, I started doing like 3D and Zbrush like a long time ago, and I was watching YouTube videos and they were motivating me. So it's really nice that I can give something back. Interesting. I never saw these grooves in here. There's still something to learn every time I'm doing these things. That's so cool, I think, about art. That it's an endless journey. And it's not something negative. Stevens, don't know if you ever took a look at NVIDIA Studio channel. There's many talented artists who's giving breakthrough and tutorials. There's Maria Panfilova who's doing a video series recently. Haven't seen NVIDIA Studio channel. No, is it on YouTube or Studio NVIDIA channel? Let me look that up. NVIDIA Studio. Ah, interesting. Yeah, I saw that the Pixologic team is doing streams regularly. So cool to see more companies like featuring artists and not like the work that other companies did. So, and this is like so valuable to to everyone, I think, like sharing. There are just so many how can I say that? I think having the platform for people whose work inspire young artists and being able to talk to these artists that inspire you is like so valuable, I think. So really cool to see that more people do that. So, for example, Raphael Grassetti, man, that would have been awesome if you would have started that 10 years ago. Maybe I would be at another point now already. J. Arturism Digital is a good one I found recently. That's who I follow for texturing. I think you posted a few videos of her in the Discord. Yeah, she's doing really good work. Stevens, yeah, I remember when I was a student, we bought a collector version on Unreal Tournament 3 with tutorial DVDs bonus on how to use the engine. Now you can have access to everything. So cool. Definitely. It can be overwhelming, like that there's too much content that it gets confusing. But yeah, if people are able to utilize the resources that they have, man, it's powerful. It's really powerful. Jay, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you're asking questions. You're taking the advantage. So a lot is on your side as well. So keep doing it, man. at a certain point you have to teach me about Blender and stuff like that, so I will come back to you. Yeah, DVDs is that's a long time ago. Not a long time ago, but as soon as YouTube came up, it changed everything when it comes to tutorials. Really revolutionizing. It would be nice that if you would start your own channel. That would be quite awesome. I mean, with the pace that you're going at right now, it's just a matter of time. Oh, that's true. Yeah, you said it before that you do stream on Twitch. I mean, an advice that Ahmed Al-Duri gave on one of his videos is, if you're into it, just documenting your process alone. Not so much about teaching something, but sharing your process. It has value. But yeah, it's something that someone has to be interested in as well. So. That's awesome, Jay. I thought about doing something similar for drawing as well, that I would just share on Twitch, because it would be more me drawing and studying like anatomy perspective and things like that, where I would probably just listen to music or, I don't know, Critical Role or something like that, and then draw. So, V2. Hello everyone, and otherwise I'm from Ukraine, and what the hell do I have in the recommendations? I don't know how you got here, but glad you said hi. I'm currently doing if you're interested in that, anatomy study of a female, and I went through the entire study, and it's very interesting, and otherwise it's not. Very wise words, man. And right now I'm detailing everything up, and once I'm done with the entire skeleton, I want to go to all the muscles and detail them up, and then probably do a test render, or not a test render, but a portfolio render, similar to this one. This was work in progress for the head. Now I added more details on the skull, and yeah, so this is what you stumbled upon. I don't know what the YouTube gods have had in mind when they send you here, but yeah. If you have any questions or something like that, or random stuff that you want to talk about, just let me know. Alright, I think I will work a little bit on the back side now. A few details. Could you help me in the game? You mean when it comes to like game art? Something like that? If you have questions about this, maybe I can answer you or help you. Otherwise, maybe someone in the chat like Stevens could help you out there. Sorry, but I can't read that. I wish I could, but I make games, but I can't make 3D models. Ah, so you're a programmer. Hey, Nini. Glad to see you back. I think you joined the stream a few times in the past. Long time, too many games. Oh, no time for YouTube. Priorities. What is the game, Jay? The only thing that I hear everyone talk about right now is Among Us. But it can't probably be the game. Or the game. Jay. Yeah, alright, I think I got it. Thanks, Stevens. Yeah, if anyone has questions about games, Stevens is the guy to ask. So if you want to spam Stevens, join my Discord. It's a bit, I don't know. But yeah, thanks for thanks for the advertisement, Stevens. Appreciate it. If you do, if you lose the game, you must announce that you in fact lost the game. I see. Danger Kanji, do you guys save as a project or as a tool? For my personal stuff, I like to save it as a project because it sets up my materials, my lighting, and my canvas. But for work, most of the time, I save it as a tool because the files tend to get heavy, and to save server space, we use the tool as a file format because it's much smaller. But yeah, I like to have it as a. Let's see, here are a few of my projects, personal ones, and it's just more convenient for me sometimes. Yeah, it's like a long-running inside joke type thing in America where you can talk about it in middle school, and someone in like college years later can say, "Oh, I just lost the game." And sure enough, you will find people who will get upset that they also just lost the game. That's awesome. All right. Is there like a time frame where I can know about the game and then it starts? Because hearing it for the first time is like, yeah, I lost it on the spot. Nope, you're winning until you lose and you never stop playing. Alright. V-Tool. Yes, it seems like you're leaving. So thanks for stopping by. So. Damn, yeah, that's what's confusing me as well. I know about the game of life. Is it what it's called? Whenever you say mine, that you have to do like push-ups. So maybe it's similar to that. Alright, Jay. I'm looking forward to it. But that means you're sacrificing your game as well. So it's like the hopes are for a chain reaction of people being like, God damn it, I lost. Nice thing to look forward to. Yeah, I guess it's worth it. Nee, reading chat up, if I understand V-Tool as an indie game maker, he is looking for 3D asset characters for his game. Ah, I see. If you're looking, are you looking for like people to work on projects with you, or like websites for buying character assets? All right, now everyone is into the game, so let's see how often that will come up. I think I should lower the size of my brush. Maybe even more, 0.2 maybe. This way it doesn't jump from one to the other. Michael, you have to pass it on to more people. I will do it as well. Bye, V-Tool. Sorry that we couldn't answer your questions that I didn't understand, or I didn't saw. Not quite sure if you asked them. Nini, the skeleton is very nice than the last time I saw this project. Thanks. Glad it makes some progress. I'm currently spending a lot of time just doing like these small little details here. Hope I can finish it soon. V-Tool, don't spam. Goodbye, stream. Goodbye, V-Tool. All right. Yeah, let's try to see if more and more people jump on board, and then I will whisper maybe next stream, maybe at a random point in time, and see. Okay, I lost the game. Yeah, I haven't heard about it as well. So yeah, you have to pass on the legacy. It sounds like something that someone very young at school came up with it, and it developed into this social phenomenon over time. So oh no, you're losing all the time. Hey, drawer. Dan, by the way, we mentioned that you're planning to 3D print this model. How long do you think it would take to make the mesh 3D print ready? When the sculpt itself is finished, maybe a few hours. Since it's a bit more intricate, this model, than, let's say, a head sculpt that I did, since there are way more gaps and overhangs in there because of the different muscles. Say it will, yeah, probably take a few hours. But the preparation for 3D is nothing in comparison to the creation of the asset in the first place. So, would you stream cleaning up the mesh? I think you can do that. Yeah. It will most of the time be probably inflate, dynameshing, decimating, and splitting things. But yeah, if people are interested in that, I can stream the process for that as well. I think what I decided, or what I tend to at the moment when it comes to streams, is that I think Wow, can you 3D print love? I hope at one point. Or my goal with the streams now is to finish the study on the stream, make it portfolio ready, and have it have the entire process for it documented. So probably after I did the renderings, I will do the cleanup for the print, and then it's an entire epic saga of of creating an echorche model from start to finish. So this is something that I would like to do. But I'm losing myself in details right now, so this will probably take ages. I was thinking about doing like a bit of work offline on this study, but I just wanted to work on other things outside of the streams, so I haven't gotten into that yet. Bam, that would be great. I hope that I won't miss that. Yeah, I will make an announcement for that, I think, over the period of a few streams, and then it will be in the title as well. So, Jay, on a scale of 1 to 10, how mentally done are you with this project? Is 1 done and 10 is like, nah, 10. 10 is done, I would say. I don't know. I had my periods of times where I felt like this isn't going anywhere, but right now I'm kind of excited to get it to another level. So I never detailed a study like this that much. So I hope the jump from my last study that I did like that to this one will be noticeable. And I can actually show you where or how my last study looked like. And yeah, it looked like this. So let's see, let's zoom a bit closer. As you can see, the ribs, for example, they're tubes and not flat. There aren't that many details. Come on. It was more aimed at clean surfaces, but as you can see, there isn't that much going on. All the bones are in place, but I think there's still a difference to the skull right now, so, or the skeleton right now. So, what number would it be? So I think something like 3, maybe. I really like the process of doing it together with all of you, which makes it quite enjoyable. So all of you are playing a huge part in it. Otherwise, I would be done quite a while ago. I think. Everyone in the village know about the game, but no one can speak. Some have tried, but no one has ever seen them again. Awesome. Drawer, you need some pro renders to show the details. Yeah, I think so too. Yeah, this will be the next step, I think, to really get the best angles and good shaders to sell the stuff. So yeah, still a lot of work to be done. Like some of the old masters post so that people click the image. Yeah. And this is what I found frustrating quite a lot in the past. That once I'm done with the model, it's not so exciting to look at because it has to be rendered nicely and put in. It's sold with the lighting and the shaders and stuff like that to even be able to see the details. And for a long time I was just doing like these plain renderings, like position it like this and then use the default rendering settings in Zbrush and do screenshots of that. So it can be sold much better than that using Blender, for example, or Arnold, which I use frequently or used frequently. Right, I want to be done with the fingers already. I'm currently just rushing through all of them. Just really quickly before I look back at the chat. Alright. Ni, when this project will be done, it can be used for medical students, so school for biology. I mean, if someone is interested in that, some school, but it's far from being medically accurate, I think. I mean, not extremely far, but I wouldn't use it as reference for my doctor to use to treat things that are wrong with me. So but that's sometimes what I find a bit strange looking at medical illustrations, because they don't care so much about like proportions and how good things look. It's just really important that everything that is relevant medically is included, like, I don't know, small protrusions that could be the reason for, I don't know, certain pains, or I don't know, entrances for the cardiovascular system, or the organs are probably quite important as well. Probably. And organs that's on another level, I would say. I haven't studied them. I think I studied them once, but it's so much. Okay, so if medics don't want to try Mortal Kombat games, perfect for finish moves, looking bones break. That's true. Yeah, for these scenarios, that makes sense to do all the internal stuff. But most of the time you don't see things like that in a character. Drawer, you'd think they would care about proportions a lot so they don't get the wrong spots. I mean, in general, it's everything's in the right place, but most of the time it doesn't really look appealing. Maybe that's the word that fits better. And I think they don't care about it too much because every person is proportioned differently, so they can't rely on it anyways. They might have an average human being on their illustrations, but then, I don't know, a really tall person appears, or a really small one, or a really obese person, or very skinny one. So, or they have like deformations in their skeleton, so everything is misplaced anyways. But yeah, this is my reasoning. Alright, that's a huge last digit here. Alright, I think... Nope, the backside is of course not detailed yet. God damn it. Just a few. I don't want to spend too much I'm saying that all the time, and yet I still lose myself in the details. I have to work on my discipline. Alright, I think the hand is done. Awesome. Cool, so what I'm looking for now is, I will go through all of these things here and see if they have 2 or more subdivision levels. So, god damn it, I forgot the clavicles. Jay, you know one thing I realized the importance of recently? Rotating canvas. You mean instead of forcing 360 control? Instead of forcing 360 control. You mean by navigating the viewport, or? Instead of forcing 360 control. That is confusing me. What do you mean by forcing 360 control? I mean, rotating the canvas is crucial all the time, just for checking, like rotating so your physical strokes always are horizontal, or whatever you're comfortable with, for like steady line work. That's what you mean. Yeah, it helps a lot. Like for me, I noticed that when I started 2D, like drawing more consistently and practicing like straight lines, really revealed to me how bad I am at doing straight lines in certain directions, like from bottom upwards. And yeah, being able to position your model in a way that makes it comfortable, yeah, is a good thing to know. Alright, so where did these sit at? Yeah, like you can only kind of do it diagonally, upper left to lower right. I see. Yeah, I can funny enough, mine, the most comfortable is from the bottom right to the upper left. So, Yashvi, thanks a lot. Fun. Yeah, sorry. English is my first language, so I do have an excuse. Jay, are you left or right-handed? I'm left-handed, so that might be the the reason why it's flipped. Alright, now on to the clavicle. Where is it? Where are you? What's up, Jay? Awesome. Left-hand crew. Nice, so many left-handed people. It's awesome. I heard that left-handed people are more creative, but maybe I'm wrong. Maybe it's like a saying that is used to make them feel better. I don't know. Awesome. Funny coincidence. Yeah, I hear it like once a month, even from people that I know for years, that they're surprised. Oh wow, you're left-handed, I didn't notice. Ah, Jay, I would question that. Nice, Stevens, nice. Oh man, that's too funny. I'm way more right brain. Yeah, I'm quite analytical as well. But I mean, I think we're in this industry for a reason. Alvaro just subscribed, thanks. No, Yashi, I meant that left-handed are tend to be more creative. I heard. I don't know if that's true or not. Probably it's one of these myths. But judging from the chat, I think there might be something to it. I think it would be interesting to see if, or to get a proper definition of what creative actually means. I heard a definition is open to new ideas. That's a psychology term. There are like these 5 personality traits, and one is creativity, and the substrate of that is openness to new ideas. So, and they can be good or bad ideas, but yeah, you got good ideas. Did I say that? Like, all right. Content. I forgot to turn on symmetry, so I will mask one side and use the smart resim function, and this will mirror to the other side without messing up the topology. All right. Try to avoid these intersections here. So, left-hand people are more creative because we live in a right-handed world. To put it simply, we're better. Just kidding. Good conclusion. Just kidding, obviously. I really don't like the ends here. So I think what I'm gonna do is to freeze the subdivision levels and do a 0 measure. And then unfreeze and boop. Subdivision levels are back and with better topology. Yeah, sure, me too. It's really interesting. I mean, at the school where I went to, it's always so inspiring to have other artists around you. At least for me, because it tends to inspire me quite a lot, and there's some kind of energy in the room that makes you want to do stuff and want to explore things. So it's an interesting field to be in. So. Sure. I don't have any standards when it comes to that. I'm like, I don't know, whatever floats my boat, I would say. Michael, that's true, but I think the frequency of interesting people is quite high. Where's up and where's down? All right. Stop it, Ben. Seriously. I mean, if you don't have to work with the nutcases, then it still can be interesting. But there are some people that who are really hard to work with. So, but they're probably still easier to work with than maybe others. I don't know. Boy. Could you guys please stop that? I mean, if it's entertaining, then I guess I have to live with it. That's right, Bam. It's totally right. Just, it's hard for me to know how to react to that. So. Nah, it's all in good spirit. I find it funny sometimes, so. And if I would know about it, I would probably do it to other people all the time. Like, if I join their streams. Yeah, I thought so. What's left to do on the model? Right now it's mostly just going through the model and doing like these surface details. And once I'm done with that, then I will do all the exporting and shading and rendering in Blender. But before I can do that, I want to go through the muscles next. So there's still a bit of work to be done here. And I think, I don't know, there's still quite a lot to do. I don't know how interesting that is for the stream, but I mean, we can still hang out and chat. But maybe I will do a bit of that outside of the stream. Maybe, if it gets too repetitive. Right now I think it's still okay. But I would really like to have the entire model on a really nice level, just to push it. I just want to see how far I can take it and make a better comparison to what I'm currently able to do. And I think a lot comes down to how much time I'm willing to put into it. And right now I would like to spend more time for the study to see what it could end up to be, or at what quality it could end up. And yeah, so I will spend a bit more time on it. A bit more meaning few more streams, probably a lot. So for the pleasure of succeeding in this challenge. Yeah, I think every project is kind of a challenge, and I think I got into this one because I wanted to document the entire process once and see how far I can push it. Did I learn something in comparison to my last one? And yeah, right now I'm kind of motivated to push it further and further. So and like the reason that people are watching is is something that helps me to keep on track. So I guess it depends on the girl. I don't know if I should go along with that. How are fat deposits even modeled? I think most of the time they aren't, because it's not something that is usually needed for a project. Everything else, or fat deposits, will usually be simulated in a project. And what I saw a few people do, it's like a yellow blob somewhere. There are certain patterns in the face, for example, how the fat pads are arranged, and then it's like a bubbly kind of surface, but yeah, this is an artistic choice, I would say. Alright, going back to the skeleton. Yeah, you would have muscle simulations, for example, and they simulate fat also, depending on how you set the settings for that. And they give really nice effects. They're, if you're interested in like a really good system for that, you can look up Ziva Dynamics. It's this website here. They are specialized on the muscle simulation part, and yeah, as you can see, it's used in a lot of movies, and they do have a really cool how do you say it? Really cool system, and it's developed by the guy that, or one of the guys that had. Or that won the Oscar for the techniques for Gollum back then, for Lord of the Rings, a technical Oscar. Alright, let's put some color on it. Draw. No, color. Fill object. Is the light too? Yeah, I think this is a bit better. Alright. Let's give it some more surface detail here. Delete, store, apply to mesh, and reduce it a little. This way it hopefully matches a bit more with the vertebrae. So let's try it by masking, mask by cavity, inverse the mask, and let's get a dark color. Oh boy. RGB, and it brings out the details just so slightly. Now it matches better with the vertebrae and the rest of the skull. And then I like to get a few patches that are darker in general, so that there's a slight gradient, just to give a bit more variation. Hopefully giving the impression that a bit of dirt gathered there. Bam, how would you sculpt a fat chubby person? Because every time I try it looks so hard for some reason. I haven't tackled that aspect of anatomy yet, to be honest. Most of the characters that I did were either muscular or very skinny or stylized, so they didn't have any muscle definition or fat definition. But I think Anatomy Next, there's a company called Anatomy Next, and they do have a book, Anatomy for Sculptors, and they do have a section on overweight proportions. And let me see it. Yeah, this is, for example, one reference from their book. And this is a really interesting reference because it shows the fat pads of the face and how they change over when a person gains more weight. And I think they have the same kinds of references for the entire body also. So maybe if you Google Anatomy Next fat people, I don't know, or chubby people, then maybe you will find something. But yeah, the references here are really awesome. This is another one that I really like, and this shows the patches for the fat pads in the face. And knowing these, I heard, really opens up a lot of or makes it much easier to look at references and distinguish what is what. So you're welcome, Yashvi. There we go. All right. Yeah, I would suggest start your own PureRef library, like I did here. And just collect all the images that you find useful, and over time it grows into a really valuable resource. So I'd really recommend this program. I'm in no affiliation with them, so it's just a really good tool that I like to use. So you just grab them from Pinterest. You can even collect multiple on Pinterest and drag them all into, it's just drag and drop into the software, and it will save them for you. So yeah. So there are a few things that I can add here. So small little lines. Michael tried doing a baby, hardly any landmarks to go off from. Babies are hard, yes. They do have completely different forms, it seems like, than adult or even young people. Ben, I have the Anatomy for Sculptors book. I'm not sure if that's the same. I think they did multiple books by now. I think they do have one on expressions, and yeah, maybe this is the one with the fat pads that I showed earlier. So, or it's an updated version that could be as well. So yeah. Anatomy of facial expression. I think this is what I was thinking about. Maybe they do have one on different body proportions. I mean, that would be really valuable. But I'm not quite sure if they have something for that yet. How did you tackle the study of anatomy? Did you just use them as references and learn them by memory, or did you read books and try to understand the muscles? How do I answer that the best? I mean, I started just doing random things from memory and then looking at images from YouTube, from Google. And after a while, I did my first study in the same way as I'm doing this one right now. Uh-oh. I hope it doesn't crash. No. So I sculpted every bone, every muscle, and then put everything together. My approach for that was I found, for example, a reference like this one that had all the bone names attached to it, and I would search for the individual bones. And for the muscles, I would do the same here, so I would try to find a general overview of this one, like this one, and then I was able to search for the specific names and then the insertion points and things like that. So, and it was a process, so I didn't it wasn't a smooth start where everything was included right from the start. So yeah, I had to learn along the way. So, and I gathered more and more references and looked for websites of tutorials and drawing tutorials. I looked a lot at drawing tutorials, to be honest, because they are teaching the fundamentals that can be applied to 3D. But yeah, overviews like these help quite a lot, just so you have a map to research deeper or research more. Zbrush crashed. Oh, that's too bad, man. Hope it comes, or I hope it's saved. Michael, you are self-taught Finn. I mean, as far as you can say it, I think. I attended university, but we never had any classes on modeling or sculpting or anatomy or anything like that. It was more based on learning by doing. So when it comes to 3D, I would say yes, but I had all the tutorials and resources online, so yeah, it didn't came up with most of the stuff. I saw it somewhere, picked it up, tried it out, and over time, it's just an amalgamation of a lot of different people's resources, tips and tricks, and a little bit of coming up with my own stuff, but bam, yeah, 2D stuff are super helpful as well, definitely. So anyone that has a good 2D background has a head start with 3D. So, all right, I think I'm getting a bit tired. How much are we into it? 3.5 hours. Michael, nice, I'm self-taught. Yeah, more power to you. I think it's a great time right now to teach yourself or to learn things on your own with your own pace. because everything is out there. So there wasn't a better time anywhere in history to be a self-taught artist, I would say. So, all right, I think this will come to an end for today. We'll probably quickly go through all of the bones and do quick poly paint on with a cavity, a slightly darker color just to bring out the details. But after that I will call it a day, and the next stream will be on Sunday. So this Sunday will be the next one, and yeah, we'll continue with this study here and see how far I can go. So it saved nice. Glad it didn't crash. Or glad it didn't lose your work. It's the 14th of October. Where I am right now, it's 9:34 p.m. So probably something different for you. But yeah. I think I still have to eat something today, so this is maybe the reason why I'm getting a bit unfocused. But the texturing shouldn't take that long anymore. So, but yeah, thanks everyone today for joining again in the chat, and it was quite fun to hang out again, and a few people streamed as well. Marian, hi my friend, how did you sculpt vertebral column? I started by sculpting this one here in the beginning and then worked my way down. So first these two, the Atlas and the Axis. The Axis is this one. They're quite unique, and then I turned this one into the first of this column, and then I duplicated it and adjusted it a little bit, and I did the same with the others, so one by one. Thanks, Michael. Yeah, thanks for joining. Bam, hope to see you on Sunday as well. And thanks for anyone that joined the Patreon page. Really appreciate it, and I hope I see more people in the Discord channel. That would be really awesome. Thanks, Stevens. Hope you have a good evening as well. See you on Sunday. Catch. Bye, Jay. Buy time to return game. Hope you have a lot of fun playing the game. So, Marian, I tried that way but didn't have good reference and get lost. Thank you for answering what time on Sunday. Same time as today, so wherever you are, 3.5 hours prior to now. So. Thanks, Slay. Slay, thanks for joining the Patreon. I really appreciate it. 3 printed but live scale. Maybe at some point. I think it wouldn't be an overkill, so it has to be done at a certain point. So, yeah, if anyone is interested, I will give the plug again. The reference sheet that I used for this study here is available on my Patreon page. And for any patron right now that is currently listening, I posted it on Patreon, not on Discord. Maybe I should write a quick reminder in the Discord channel. But yeah, I've finally published the reference sheet here. So if anyone is interested in that, you can check that out as well. So, all right. This is now a bit more detailed here as well. So I will leave it like this now. So yeah, on Sunday will be the next stream. Like I said, like 3.5 hours prior to now is when I will start on Sunday. So where I am right now, I started at 6 p.m. Now it's 9:38 p.m. So same time will be on Sunday. And yeah, hope to see you there. Thanks everybody for joining today. And I hope you all have a great day. All the best. Take care, everybody. Till next time.